Hey guys, LootWizard here with another key opening video. We're going after this new mythic troop called Sycorax. At least that's how I think it is pronounced. I could be wrong. Who knows? Some of these names are really strange that come up with these new troops. But we're going to be trying to get this Sycorax troop here, new mythic. We're going to take a look at it. If I do get it really quickly, if I get lucky enough, then we can check out the new faction. That's a new thing going on in the underworld. There's a new weapon for it. There's some new troops down there. I haven't taken a look at what troops are there, but I have taken a look at the weapon because it's in the Soul Forge also. And I don't know. I don't really think it's that great, but anyway, that's might not might not even be this video. We're gonna be going after the mythic troop. So let's. I always like to check out what these mythic troops do, what their ability is before I go ahead and try to get it. It's a 25 mana cost, and it is an elemental mystic troop. The art looks really creepy. Looks like a giant beetle person with eyes that are not really too healthy. Anyway, here, its ability is called Sea of Magic. It will double a chosen color of gem on the board, then create 3 more gems of that color. Give 25 life to all allies of that color. So it's basically a support troop. And it's acting like a troll. If you've ever used the troll troops, which I'm sure most of you have at this point, there's like rock troll, sea troll, lots of different trolls that double a certain kind of gem on the board, and then it creates 3 more. So it's basically doing that, but you get to choose what color it is instead of forced into whatever color the troll has. And then also it gives life to all allies of the color of the gem you choose. So, but for a 25 mana cost, you can cut that in half if you use the Miraji Queen fully traded because it's an elemental. But I don't know yet quite how useful this one is going to be. I did take a sneak peek at next month's Mythic Troop, and I think that one might be much better to save up your keys for. So I'm just letting you know right now that this might not be the best one to try to spend all your keys on. Taking a look at its traits, it's pretty good. It has Impervious in the second one here. Recovering 3 life at the start of each turn. Not a major deal, really. I mean, it would help out lower level players if this is like your first mythic you get and you can afford to trait this first thing. That might help you survive some battles. But again, it's not really a damage troop. And my theory on troops in the game is that yes, there are some good support troops and defense troops, but attack troops and like skull attack troops, magic attack troops, all of those are more important. I'm always going to rate those higher than a support troop because if this is the only troop you have left on your team, the only surviving troop, good luck winning a battle. It doesn't do any magic damage. So you have to rely on the skull damage here, and it doesn't have any way to create skulls. So if this is the last troop on your team, the last man standing, so to say, I don't think it's that great of a troop, But as a support troop, this could be really good. So that all these troops fill different roles, but ultimately when you're ranking these things, and I'm thinking about this more now, it's probably why I'm talking about it, is because I'm working on a mythic tier list, and I might release that sooner than later. I know I'm going down a rabbit trail now. I should just focus on opening these keys. So anyway, the last trait here, all elemental allies gain 1 attack and armor at the start of my turn. So this benefits all elementals. That might benefit some troops. I don't know if Rowan is an elemental. If it is, the armor, it could gain 1 armor every turn, which would help increase its damage. If it did have life in here, it would help Sunbird, because I know that the Sunbird is an elemental. But, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really... I'll have to look to see what elemental troops that might benefit, but, yeah, I don't know. I would rather have this actually be all elemental allies gain 1 attack and magic at the start of my turn. I mean, that might be too powerful, but it's only 1 magic. There's other troops that steal magic as well. And in fact, you got troops that add 1 magic. Like, all of the troops that give a 1 to all stats at the start of every turn. So you have Champion of Guard, which is for red mana. You have Scorpius, which is for brown mana troops. You have Champion of... what's the other champion? Not Champion... Champion of Guard is red. There's another champion troop that's for blue. I can't... For the life of me, I can't remember its name right now. But and then you got the Bard class is 1 for all the yellow troops. So all of those, basically what I'm trying to do is compare it to those. And I'm saying that this troop is less value than those troops because it's not giving magic and life to all elemental allies as well as the attack and the armor. So again, it's a support troop, and you can see right here the only thing that is helping with the attack or damage aspect of the troop is giving 1 attack. But like I said, you're waiting for skulls and blah, blah, blah. You got to, wait for skulls to drop down because if this is the last troop, you don't have a way to create skulls with this one. All right. So now that I rambled on for 6 minutes about my theory on this troop, if I wasn't at a point in the game where I was trying to collect all the mythics, and you can see right here, these are the last mythic troops that I have to get. So I'm narrowing down close to like a final like 8 mythic troops here that I don't have yet. But if I wasn't trying to collect them all, I would not spend keys trying to get this troop this week. But now I'm at a point in the game where I am trying to collect all the mythics. So this time around, I did save up my guild keys. Let's go check and collect my seals. Let's go here and collect my seals. Not much. I'm not even at my maximum 2,000 yet because I've been busy. But I do have over 11,000 there, so I'm going to open those. I've been saving them this time specifically for this. And we are at level 6 guild chest here, so that should put me at 40,000. Yep, we are weekly seals here of 40,000, so that's cool. That gives me the best chance. I don't know why I keep clicking on that. Let's go over here to the keys. And so what I'm going to do first is open guild keys, and then we're going to go from here over to probably glory keys, then we'll go gem keys. And if I don't get it by then we'll open a bunch of glory, and then finally we can go to VIP keys because I do have that unlocked. So yeah, let's go here, guild keys, and it would be great if I got this mythic in my guild keys because then I could just save my all my gem keys. We got Jarl Firemantle, and now it's a pretty good legendary troop. It does damage and it generates mana, and one of the colors that it generates is a color that it uses. So that's good. I always like it when troops do damage, some type of damage, and then they also generate mana for the color that they use. Got 2 legendaries there, Krampus and Solzara. Not the best legendaries, but they're not the worst either. Sylvanamora. That's it's a pretty good legendary. Mainly the Entangle here on 4 or 5 gem matches is really good. Exploding, so it's going to generate some mana for itself, and it deals a pretty good mana to, or pretty good damage to all enemies. But it is a straight dragon troop and pretty high mana cost actually. I mean, it's not. Most legendary troops are like between 14 and 18 mana. This is kind of at the higher end of that. So we're going to open another one here. So we got Gog and Good, which is one of the worst legendary troops in the game, and then we got Tinson Tail, which is actually a pretty good legendary troop. 15 mana cost and has some good stuff going on there. Wow, got a lot of a lot of legendary troops out of that batch. So we have the Garuda, which is pretty good. Does summon a firestorm, so it can be useful with the Phoenicia troop. If you have that as a mythic troop, it does double damage if there's a firestorm. Now, of course, you could use Sun Spear. That's what I always do. The Sun Spear class generates a firestorm every turn. But this is a troop that if you don't want to use Sun Spear, you still want to use that troop, then this one is a pretty good way to summon a firestorm. And the other way to summon a firestorm too is with the Sunbird. It summons a firestorm whenever a troop dies, and since the Sunbird technically dies when it resurrects itself, it'll summon a firestorm for you there too. King Highforge, it's pretty decent legendary for what it is. Dwarves aren't like incredibly super duper powerful, but they're not bad either. Like if you have a full dwarf team, sometimes they can be a force to be reckoned with. A lot of the good things about dwarves is that most of them have this fortitude trait, which means it's immune to devour and deathmark and stun and all that stuff. So that's always a good thing. But this troop here, as a legendary, makes all dwarves start with 50% mana. It does stun the last two enemies, and then it will also it can summon a random dwarf. So that's a pretty decent legendary for what it is. Then this legendary here is also pretty good, called Queen Titania. It deals damage to all enemies boosted by red enemies and allies. It's 4 extra damage per red enemy and ally. And then there is, it does gain an extra turn if there's 13 or more red gems. The other thing that's really good about this is the final trait here. It'll Fairy Fire a random enemy on 4 or 5 gem matches, which will allow you to do an extra 50% spell damage to those enemies. Viper is not really a good not really a good legendary troop. I don't think I've ever used Viper. Well, probably once or twice, but then I realized it wasn't that great, so I just stopped using it. Borealis here is pretty good in some cases. Has a high damage reduction from skulls, deals triple skull damage to frozen enemies, so it's best used in the very first spot of your team. And if you got to have a way to freeze that first enemy. It does, within its ability, it will freeze all enemies, so that is good, and then it deals damage. So this is going to be used as to really, you really want to try to capitalize on this triple skull damage to frozen enemies part of this legendary. We got 3 more we can open up. Holy Saint Ostra is a really great legendary troop. Another one of those legendaries that allow certain troop types, in this case humans, to start battles with 50% mana. This one gives life and armor to all allies, and then it will create a light storm, and it will enchant all humans. 14 mana cost for a legendary card. It's divine and human, so obviously it's human. It's going to cause its own self to start with half mana if you use it, so this 14 is actually 7 mana, so that's actually really good. Human troops are pretty good. So we got 2 more legendaries here. Matron Dragatani, not bad. It does create 6 blue gems. That's going to stay the same, constant, no matter what your level is. Boosted by frozen enemies, then it will deal damage to the first and last enemies boosted by blue gems. Now it's going to do an extra 2 damage per blue gem. Not a great damage ratio, but it does have potential to create some blue gems there. So it's best used with a troop that is going to be using blue mana, since it does not use blue mana itself. And it does reduce damage from spells by 75%, so that's one of the highest spell reduction cards in the game. So, that's pretty interesting. But as far as damage, not super great. Starflower, it will deal damage to all enemies, boosted by ally and enemy Fae. It will summon a random Fae, so that's a guaranteed summon as long as you have an empty space in your team. And there's a 20% chance to transform a random enemy to a pixie. And then it does have a 50% chance to Fairy Fire a random enemy at the start of my battle. So if you really want to Fairy Fire a lot of enemies, this is a pretty good troop there for doing that. And I know we're trying to go for the Mythic troop, but I'm trying to make this video a little more interesting by commenting on a lot of these legendary troops that we're getting. I don't know, that might be boring a lot of you, but you know, I think it's good to, you know, give my opinion on some of these. And a lot of times I don't have you know, the opportunity to make a lot of comments on some of these legendary troops, except in videos like this when they keep popping up here in the chest. So Forest Guardian is another one of those good troops that allows all beasts to start with 50% mana, just like the one for humans and dwarves, those types of troops. This one does have a higher mana cost, 18, but that is because all of the cards and troops here that transform gems to skulls and then transform a different color to a different color, you know, all of those types of cards always have an 18 mana cost for whatever reason. But this is considered a beast as well, so it'll make itself start with 50% mana no matter what team you put it in, even if it isn't an all beast team. And there are some good combinations that you can put this troop into for you know, without using beast, but it does give all beasts a barrier whenever you use its ability, which is actually pretty good. King's Illness is also another troop. We're getting a lot of these legendaries with the 50% starting mana, so this is will make all wild folks to start with 50% mana, which is really good because there's some really incredible wild folk troops. Does splash damage to an enemy boosted by wild folk allies, and that is a boost ratio of 6 damage. So you can do basically an extra 24 damage if you have a full wild folk team. And that will steal 1 magic from all enemies affected by its spell. It'll also burn all enemies. So this is another troop that can allow you to burn all enemies and take advantage of any kind of troops that do extra damage to burning enemies. Even classes with that Fireblade talent at level 100, that can be useful there too. So then we got Glitter Claw. This one is mainly used for Fairy Fire all enemies here. This is one of the only legendary troops. I think there's only one other legendary troop that can gain enchant when matching just a single type of gem color. This one enchants itself when you match red gems. And Sycorax is the other one. There might be a third that I can't remember right now, but I know that there's at least these two. Glitter Claw and Sycorax gain enchant. This one from red gems and Sycorax from purple. Oh, hey, look at that. I am happy to see this weird named mythic Sycorax. We got him in glory keys. We opened 200 of them, and there it is. You know, I was starting to think that, you know, my luck today has been really bad, you know. It's one of those days at work, just, you know, I hurt myself at work, and then driving home, I got a speeding ticket. So today hasn't been a great day for me. I thought my luck would, you know, come over into the game here, but it didn't look like that. So we got it. Sycorax, if that is how you pronounce this this name. I don't know. You know, if you guys know how to pronounce the name of this thing better than me, go ahead and post it in the comment section. But anyway. Yeah, so we got it. And Web Spinner, just to give my opinion on this is mainly used down here for its final trait, Lethal Toxin. It'll deal triple damage, triple skull damage to poisoned and webbed enemies, and it will inflict web when doing skull damage, so it's guaranteed, unless the enemy is immune to a web, then you're going to do that triple skull damage. So that's a good legendary troop as well. But yeah, we got Sycorax here, so yeah, we can go, we got it in the first, what did I have, 24, I think I had 2,400 glory keys, and we got really lucky this time around, and we got it within the first 800 glory keys, I think. That's really, really, really good, because I'm sure you guys remember one of my previous videos where I used like 80,000 glory to get that one troop, and that was after exhausting my gem keys and opening one thing of VIP and all that stuff. So But yeah, no, we're not gonna pay your 35 there. We're gonna go to here. It is no longer an unowned troop, so I gotta switch that. Let's go find it. And there it is. So we can go ahead and upgrade this. We'll unlock its traits. And really quickly here, we'll go ahead and level it up to maximum. We'll see if the life is any higher. It was like 24. Okay, so 25. It's basically the same as what it showed before. But yeah, guys, I wouldn't go ahead and burn all your keys on this troop. I would wait for the next one. Unless they changed abilities on the next one, but I don't know. It's some kind of like skull conversion troop from what I remember looking at it. And those are going to be, a troop like that's going to be better than this one. This is just your support troop thing. But it is giving that boost to elementals, so I wanted to go and take a look here. Let's take a look at what elementals we have. It's going to boost armor and attack damage on elementals. So these are the elemental mythics that we have. Aquaticus. But like how would Aquaticus get boosted by 1 armor and 1 attack? Infernus, King of Bloodwood, Mistralis, Obsidius is elemental, Phoenicia is elemental, Shabanu, Vespera. The Wild Queen could get, you know, because it's all about, if you put the Wild Queen in the first spot, I suppose, you know, you'd gain 1 attack every time, every turn with this thing in the team. But it just doesn't seem like, well, the mana colors here are mostly blocked by those two. It's just there's purple here and there's blue here. So yeah, I can't really say I'm gonna use Sycorax here that much, really. It's like the double the mana cost of a regular troll. It just gives you the freedom to choose which gem color you want to double on the board. Which could be, I mean, I understand that that can be powerful in some cases because you're almost guaranteeing yourself 4 and 5 matches with this troop. With that, because you can pick, you know, pretty much at any given time there's at least 1 color on the board that's 10 or more gems. So you can double that and it'll create 3 on top of it. So I'm not saying it's a horrible support troop. It looks like it'll be pretty good. But pretty high mana cost, though, for just a advanced troll. That's really all it is. Like, I would have liked to have seen this troop down to, like, maybe a mana cost of 20. Like, you know, there's Suna. You know, there's other mythic troops. Like, even the Wild Queen is at 22. Now, the Wild Queen is really, really amazing. So, comparing Wild Queen with the Sycorax troop, it's just, you know, no comparison for me. If I had one of those left on my team, I would pick the Wild Queen every single time because it has the ability to create its stealing attack and it will create skulls. So, it's just that right there is going to be way better at the end of the end of the day. So anyway, this video has probably gone on long enough. As for teams that this troop would be good in, since it's not a damage troop, I wouldn't build a team around this troop. You know what I'm saying? So the way that I think about team building, just very basically, is you find a really strong attack troop that you want to be your main damage source. Now, it could be as much as 2 troops. But usually I build a team around a single type of troop. And you want support troops, you want defense troops, you want mana generating troops to make sure that that damaged troop stays alive, it survives, and it's protected. But also that it's somehow you can generate mana for it so you can do damage, all that kind of stuff. So basically, that's team building for me, the basics of it. And so I would not start with this troop, hey, well, let's throw this troop in and then let's build a team around it. No, that's not how I do it. I would say, you know, okay, I'm going to pick the Wild Queen. This is going to be like my main damage source. Now let me figure out what hero weapon and class and what other support troops can make this troop even better. What troops do I have that'll generate mana for the Wild Queen? What troops do I have that will protect it from being destroyed? And so that's basically how I think about building up a team. So just to repeat myself one final time, I would not build a team around this. This is a troop that I would use in building a team around a different damage troop. So I hope that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on all of that, and I was lucky enough to get this troop, so that makes me happy after having some bad luck. So I'm glad my luck is turning around a little bit, and thanks for watching, guys. As always, post your comments below. If you have an amazing team already built with this troop, feel free to post it in the comment section below, and you know, I'll check it out. So, yep, thanks for watching again, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.